Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Battle Royale Pitch Day. As everyone is trickling in, we'd love for you to share where you're calling in from in the chat. If there's a certain startup that you're super excited to see, that you're cheering on for, please share that here, and we're going to get started in just a minute.
All right. We lost Andrew. Did the internet go down in Victoria?
The whole island went down.
Oh man. Oh man. We got problems. Peter, are these like special glasses for some sort of UV stuff, or what we got going on here?
Yeah, I just like to change things up.
Change your perspective.
You should see I have a whole collection.
I love it.
These are my favorite. I wore at Coachella.
Those are awesome.
Timu.
Very nice.
I literally have, most of the time I wear sunglasses and people comment and they like it, and I just hand it to them and say, you can have it.
Alrighty.
That's very Burning Man. I love it.
We have a lot of people trickled in now, so I think it's time to get started. Welcome, everyone. We are so excited to have you all here for Kernel's first ever virtual Battle Royale pitch event. We have a great lineup today, and there's over 1,000 of you tuning in today. We are so excited. If this is your first time here, Kernel is the best platform for founders to pitch their startups. You can connect with investors very quickly, and it allows founders to rapidly close their round. I'll be your guest host for today, hosting the event. My name is Nadia. I'm the co-founder and CEO of organic period care brand Marlow, which is the very first lubricated tampon. And I'm no stranger to Kernel. I've done lots of pitching here myself, and their tools and software definitely makes it easier for you to pitch. I'm super excited for you to hear all the founders that we have tuning in today who are all currently raising their funding round and be able to connect with them. This event is brought to you by HubSpot. It's an all-in-one CRM platform that scales as your startup grows. Eligible startups can get up to 90% off of their first year with an exclusive discount for Kernel members. And I know we personally use HubSpot as Marlow as well to track our B2B sales pipeline. So make sure you click that link to claim your discount today. And we're kicking off this new Battle Royale pitch series. And if you have missed your chance to pitch or you're looking to join future events, make sure that you click the link on your screen to apply and RSVP for some of the upcoming events that we have as well. And as our viewers roll in, I'd love to do some quick introductions of some of the amazing panelists that we have joining us today. I have a couple of fun questions for each of you, so thank you so much for joining. I'm going to start with Andrew from Tiny. I know you have a lot of experience in e-commerce, and I'm curious to know, what is the most interesting trend that you're watching right now when it comes to the e-commerce space? And you're on mute, sir, as well.
Most of my experience is actually in e-commerce tools. So we own a whole bunch of businesses in the Shopify ecosystem, mostly providing software and themes. But what I'm seeing in e-commerce that's really interesting is influencers monetizing instead of using advertising by starting or buying brands, kind of like what you saw with what Jessica Alba did with, what is it called? The Honest Company. We're seeing more and more influencers doing that. We just partnered with Andrew Huberman and we launched a yerba mate brand. So yeah, that's something I've got my eye on.
That's super cool. I didn't know that he just launched a brand, and I love his podcast. So that's cool. I'm definitely going to check that out after. And with our theme of Battle Royale, we really want to know about superpowers. And if you had a dream superpower and you had to do a real life Battle Royale, what would be your dream superpower that you would want to have?
Like a physical superpower or like an investing superpower?
I guess either.
Oh man, I wish as an entrepreneur, I wish that no one could ever get upset with me, and every employee I ever worked with was easygoing and chill and happy.
That sounds like an amazing superpower. I wish I could have that as well. That's awesome. Thank you. And next up, we have Dragon's Den Clearco, Michele Romanow. I want to know, what is one deal that had got away from you on Dragon's Den, something that you're like, man, I wish I invested in it when I saw it?
Oh, you guys are teeing me up so perfectly because my one that got away was Smart Suites, which is actually an LOI company. She came on the show. I was very familiar with Steffi at the time. If you're not familiar with the company, she makes sugar-free gummy bears. She was the first in the space. She was very young when she started. I still remember her meeting with me. She's like, I'm not going to sell this company for less than $20 million. And I was like, that is a lot of confidence for someone doing $1 million in sales right now. And Tara's incredible. And she sold the company 4 years later for $400 million to TPG. Had an incredible exit, but she's a great founder. She's an alumni of this program, so you guys should be really proud of her. And she was certainly my deal that got away.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And she wanted 20 million and got 400. That's crazy.
Well, no, but that's over. There
Or like,
was
sorry, I mean, like, that was her initial goal, and then
yeah. That was over many years. She
Blew it out of the water.
yeah,
She blew it out of the water.
and I'm sure lots of other LOI companies will get there as well. And what is your superpower that you would want to have?
What is my superpower that I would want to have? And sorry, I just realized she might have not been in the LOI program, but same area. The superpower I would like to have is to fly. That would be really great if I could fly and not get sick, just by myself like a bird. That'd be perfect.
I would love to do that too. All the traveling would become so much easier.
Yeah.
All right, Peter, next up from Science, which is behind Liquid Death and Dollar Shave Club. And you've helped incubate and build some amazing brands, just the two I listed. What is one key lesson you want to share with the audience about brand building and building a lasting brand for anyone that's tuning in?
I would say it takes time. Everything's, I would say, 3 to 4 year overnight success when it comes to brand. Stay committed to what you define yourself as, and pick a lane. So you do not need to be loved by everyone, right? And so Liquid Death is a great example. We know our lane. That is our brand. We don't try to please everybody, and that's okay. I think brands that waver and try to, get everyone to like them, you kind of see what happened to Bud Light. So pick a lane, own it, mean it. The community will rally behind it. And because of the internet, because of Instagram, because of TikTok, that quote unquote niche audience is actually bigger than you think it is.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Yeah, success doesn't happen overnight, and pick that niche audience that you want to go after. And similar to all the other panelists, what is your dream superpower that you would love to have?
That's something I don't do. That's I'm in this flow state. I was telling everyone, I'm Buddhist. Wanting removes the living of the present, so enjoying of the present. So I don't have the wanting of things. I'm very happy and present.
Oh, I like that. You spun the question on its head. We were not expecting that, but that's an entrepreneurial way of thinking, so that's good. And last but not least, we have the founder of Hootsuite and LOI Venture, Ryan. And my question to you is, why do you believe that it's important to support and champion young entrepreneurs, something we're going to be doing today? Why do you have that mission with LOI Venture?
Well, I just look back on my entrepreneurial journey, and it's a very hard journey for so many people, and I'm grateful to have had the success I've had, and for me, paying it forward and helping make that journey for other people easier, helping accelerate them in their career, teaching them things that myself and all of our advisors have learned along the way, those hard lessons that can help accelerate them. I want to put like a 20-year journey and condense it down to a 2-year journey, and really get these founders thinking about the right ideas that they should go and attack, and hopefully not going down roads that they shouldn't, and kind of like hitting dead ends. And so if we can do that, I think ultimately the big goal of this is that we just create a lot of prosperity, not just for the founders, but for their teams and, society as a whole, and create a lot of abundance.
Yeah, I think the common theme is we all love seeing other people win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I love that. Yeah. Growing up, my dad always said that a rising tide lifts all boats. And I feel like it's a theme that I really try to live by. And I feel like you said, everyone's kind of echoing that same sentiment. So
good people. We want good people to win.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. And what's your dream superpower, Ryan?
Oh, I just want a simple superpower that lets me pick whatever superpower I want.
Everyone's getting creative with these answers. I love it.
I think, I don't know, the one that pops into my head always is like reading people's minds, but I think that would be just also a very double-edged sword, and you really could make yourself
a miserable
person with that.
You have 10,000 thoughts a day. You remember 1% of them the next day. Imagine listening to that nonsense in everyone else's brain, including your own.
I know. So maybe flying. That's easier.
I love that. Now we introduced all of our 4 panelists, and I think it's time we start to get ready to hear our startups. So before we kick it off, I just wanted to give a quick breakdown about how this next hour is going to flow. We have 4 different startups. Each will be giving their own 4-minute pitch. And during the pitch, we encourage you to click the like, connect, and invest buttons that will appear at the bottom of your screen so that you can get in touch with these amazing founders who are all trying to raise money to grow their startups. After the founder has finished their pitch, I will bring up our 4 all-star panelists to share their live feedback and ask any questions similar to a Shark Tank style event. So to recap, if any of the founders catch your eye, please tap those buttons below to get connected and express your interest so that you can meet with them afterwards. Now, enough of talking and introducing everyone. I think it's time we get into the startups, which is why we are all here today. And just a quick reminder for any of the investors in the crowd, you do have to be accredited if you want to meet with these founders and mingle with them. We're here to facilitate introductions, not transactions, so invest wisely. And remember, no pearls of wisdom that are offered here actually count as financial advice. Now let's get to the pitches. First up, we have Max from Blossom. It is the go-to investing social network. Just last week, Max raised $500,000 for his community in 24 hours. That is incredible. And he also wrote a microeconomics textbook used as the primary textbook for first-year economics. So a little bit of a fun fact about Max. Max, we're ready to hear you pitch, so you can come on up and take it away.
There we go. Awesome. Hello, everyone, and thanks for the amazing intro, Nadia. And as mentioned, I'm Max. I'm the founder of Blossom, the investing social network. Shout out to the judges and shout out to our amazing Blossom community. I know many of you guys took time out of your workday to tune in. We shared the YouTube link in the community just a minute ago. I know the kernel might be having some issues, but I think I already saw 50 people there on the YouTube. So with that, let's get into the pitch, and excited to tell you all a bit more about Blossom. There we go. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yep.
Perfect. So yeah, over the past few years, as I'm sure we've all seen, retail investing has absolutely exploded. In North America alone, there's over 100 million retail investors, and these DIY investors are passionate and hungry to learn more about investing. And they find themselves on platforms like Reddit and Twitter to learn more, where they're met with anonymous users, bot and scammer accounts, and people claiming to have made 10,000% on Tesla and GameStop with no proof to back up their claims. So these platforms might be great to watch, funny cat videos or unclog your toilet, but they were never built with investors in mind. And that is why we created Blossom, a social media platform built specifically for investors with transparency at our core, with currently over 120,000 users and counting. On Blossom, your profile is your portfolio. So you can share what you're investing in, you can see what other people are investing in, and you can engage in a community of real people sharing real investment activity. We securely connect to popular brokerages like Robinhood and Wealthsimple to make it quick and seamless to import your portfolio. But Blossom isn't just about socializing. It's packed with powerful tools and resources designed to be the one-stop shop for all your investing needs. From comprehensive portfolio analysis tools, to dividend tracking and forecasting, to even full-fledged Duolingo-style investing courses taught by your favorite content creators. Simply, Blossom is the ultimate app for the DIY investor. And we have been absolutely blowing up. In less than 2 years of being live on the App Store, we've soared to over 120,000 members with over 10,000 new investors joining us every month. Our growth is currently coming from 3 primary channels. 23% comes from our incredible ambassadors, where we work with over 60 of the largest and most influential finance content creators And many of those, as you can see on the slide, have actually directly invested their own money into Blossom. 27% comes from paid advertising on platforms like Meta and TikTok, but most importantly, over 50% of our growth is organic, driven by our incredible community and demonstrating a strong signal that Blossom is filling a void in the market. Now, as many of you know, the growth is only one piece of the puzzle, and there's many apps that are driving hundreds of thousands of downloads, but no one sticks around. And with us, that is just not the case. Our retention rates actually put us in the top 10% of all social apps across North America, with roughly 1/3 of all of our downloads converting to monthly active users indefinitely. Our community is incredibly engaged, as I think we can see with probably 100 folks already tuning in from the live stream. I just reposted it 5 minutes ago in the app. But we have over 8 million sessions logged, nearly 300,000 hours spent in the app, and close to 500,000 comments and posts in the last 12 months alone. And I'll add that we have 400 million in assets currently linked to the platform. We're also on pace for our first $1 million year in revenue in 2024, representing a 300% increase from the previous year. And we're currently monetizing from both Blossom Pro, which is a B2C subscription for about $59.99 a year that gives deeper portfolio insights and dividend tracking, and advertising revenues, where we work with some of the biggest and most established names in the financial market, like the Bank of Montreal. We have profitable unit economics, and we're on pace to be cash flow positive in the next 12 months. And as Nadia mentioned at the start, we just completed our $2 million seed round at a $17 million pre-money valuation. $1 million of this came from VCs like LOI Venture and Goodwater, but for the other $1 million, this came directly from our community. Nadia mentioned we opened up a crowdfunding round to raise $500,000 with the goal of raising that in 2 months, and that filled in less than 12 hours. We added another $500,000 allocation, and that was filled in 3 days, which I believe makes it the most successful equity crowdfunding round in Canadian history. This $2 million meets our capital needs and gives us a clear path to cash flow positive, as I mentioned, but we are willing to open up a $500,000 allocation for a strategic investor if we see a strong fit. So definitely reach out if you share our passion for changing the future of investing and personal finance. And with that, I'll wrap up the pitch and excited to hear your questions.
Amazing. Great job, Max. Love hearing about your crowdfunding campaign and all the success you're seeing. And I'm sure our panelists have some questions for you as well. So reminder to the audience, if you want to connect with Max, he's looking for some more investors, make sure you use those buttons below. And we're going to get started with our questions, starting with Ryan.
Great pitch, Max. And I'm familiar with the company. I always ask this. I know you're headquartered in Canada, but how's the U.S. market opening plan going and U.S. customers?
Yeah, so it's going amazing. That's actually one really unique thing. We've grown to 100,000 in Canada alone. We just launched in January 1st in the U.S. and we're following the same playbook in the U.S. But I love that stat because that penetration that we have in Canada shows that we can get to at least 1 million in U.S. with just the exact same playbook. Many of those ambassadors that we work with, that was the core part of our growth strategy, is working with, some of the biggest ambassadors in the US, like Seth Godin, like Ericnomics, Megan Makes Money, getting those buy-in from those content creators and getting them on the platform. And currently 35% of our growth is coming from the US, and that's a big priority for us to ramp up in the coming year. So a big chunk of that 10,000 per month, about 4,000, 3,500 to 4,000 of that's coming from the US. And that's where our primary focus lies for 2024 and onwards.
And Michelle, over to you if you have a question, follow up on that or a different question as well.
Yeah, Max, what creates the stickiness in the product today? Is this like a show-off app? Like, this is my portfolio? Is this a question and answer where people are trying to just get advice and then they're getting like, the serotonin hit from the likes? Is it like, what's keeping people coming back that's so sticky? Because I think these are easy to get people on and hard, as you said, hard for them to stay on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's a good question and something. There was actually a post in Blossom where someone posted a poll of, what are people getting out of the platform? And some people said it was the fun, the education, the advice. I think it's a mix of all of that. The company that I see ourselves as the biggest comparable to is LinkedIn, where if you think about LinkedIn, they're like the social network for like career and jobs. We're trying to build the social network for money and finance. And so I think the same way with like LinkedIn, there's a lot of different, there's the status, there's the educational aspect. that plays a role in this as well. On a data side, the one single action which drives retention is when users link their brokerage. So when users link their brokerage to the app, that increases retention rates by 2 to 2.5 times. And so that act of, not just using it for community, but also using it as their primary, investment tracking app drives that stickiness a lot.
Because these are primarily retail investors, right? These are not people with complicated portfolios in multiple countries and like stuff like that. They're literally like, this is what I'm doing public markets bets wise, right?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. 25 to 44 is our typical age and about $20,000 average portfolio size.
Okay, great pitch. Thank you.
Andrew, over to you. So
I love anyone that's unbundling Reddit. I think that's really smart. I'm curious, who do you guys view as your competitors? And I'm also curious how you guys think about someone like Wealthsimple or Robinhood simply just adding some of this functionality.
Yeah, so someone has actually done the Wealthsimple Robinhood add that functionality, and that's public.com in the US. They've grown to 1 million users, actually probably more than that. That was like 2 years ago, over $1 billion valuation. And they've done very, very well. But we have the strong belief that the best social app for this purpose needs to be broker agnostic, because if you actually want to have your friends on it, have your creators on it, having to switch brokerages in order to do it is very, very tricky. So public, right, has like 6% market share maybe in the US. The other 94% market share, who go to Vanguard, Charles Schwab, Robinhood, any of these other platforms, can come to us and link it. So the nature of a social community, when you gate it for a brokerage, it makes it less valuable. The biggest competitor that I see actually is a German company called GetQuinn. They raised a $15 million round from, ironically, a Canadian VC. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was, but some of that capital was earmarked for coming into the US. So I expected us to be entering the US around the same time. And they have a very similar product, but more for the German and European market. However, they haven't really pushed deeply into the US, but if they did, I would see that as sort of the biggest competition. But we have a head start now.
Who is your dream? I'm just curious, who's your dream customer or user, and how do you monetize them? So is it like a retail investor and the goal would be to get them into a Robinhood account and you're going to get an affiliate fee? Is it show them ads? I'm just curious what that ideal user looks like.
Yeah, so long term, I see like both of the channels that we're currently monetizing from being important, and that's why I like using LinkedIn as a comparable, right? Because they have the advertising revenue stream and the subscription stream, and we have very similar. So our ideal customer currently is like dividend tracking, portfolio analysis. They're paying that subscription rate, and that's giving us the recurring revenue. But then the advertising revenue, where we've had the best success with, is ETF providers. So we have a contract with Bank of Montreal, Purpose Investments, essentially all of the major ETF providers in Canada. And in US, that would be like the BlackRocks and the Vanguard, because we have the perfect audience for them to highlight those ETFs and products. But I think both of those streams are important and have different sort of paths to grow. But if we want to, be sort of the next LinkedIn for money and finance, both of those become.
And what's the revenue? What's the ARR, and what's your advertising revenue?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if my screen is still sharing. I switched to the.
I care more about ARPU, revenue per user. Actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's. Let's get into that. I cut that from the pitch because it was too time consuming. But this is something I'm very proud of. So we have a $18.20. Actually, I think it was $17.90 once the quarter wrapped up. Average revenue per monthly active user, which puts us 2 to 4 times higher than other top apps, top social apps. And our annual cost from sort of server and APIs is $280. Our cost to acquire is $9.10. So that's taken from a $3 cost per download, and then about a third of those converting to monthly active users.
And that's blended. Is that a blended, or is that actual paid for a paid user? Is that blended?
That's blended. Yeah.
What's the paid user cost you?
So it's $3 blended cost per download, which works out to the $9. Our ads
not blended, purely paid.
Yeah, our paid is around $5. So that would work out to be about $15 per MAU. Yeah, so currently
first month break even.
Yeah, exactly. In the first year.
And you had 33% MAU. Is that your D30?
That's actually basically when the curve just starts smoothing.
Just what is your D30?
Yeah, D30, I don't know off the top of my head, but I know it puts us in the top 10% if you compare it to the AppsFlyer analytics.
This big range. So for everyone's edification, so D7, I usually ask what D70 30 is. This person downloaded an app. What's the percent? 100 people downloaded that today. How many of them opened it 7 days later, 14 days later, and 30 days later? And in general, single digit at 30 is decent. And we're just wondering if it's in the 3% or is it in the 10% range?
Yeah, I can pull it up actually.
And then you said $59 per year. What's the percentage of users that are premium? And then
we have about 7.5% of our MAUs on Pro, which is roughly similar to Duolingo's penetration.
And what's the percentage of people who have connected brokerage?
About 56% of MAUs, about 20% of total users.
Amazing.
Got it. And so do people follow others? So is it like stock twits, or is it?
Yeah. So
like LinkedIn, is it like 10% create content, 90% consume content, or is 2% create content, 98% consume?
Yeah. So Peter, I definitely like all of these metrics. We have really rock solid, and I'll follow up with you after. But on that one, currently it's about, I think the common rule of thumb is like 10% engage, 1% post. I know ours is around 11% engage and 3% post. So we have triple the posting that Reddit would have. And while I didn't know the D7 off the top of my head, I know that D7 and D30 is what I'm comparing and where I'm getting that top 10% from. And if we compared it to AppsFlyer's top 10% for finance across North America, the reason I use this curve here was because it just makes more intuitive sense for people than the D7 and the D30. But I'll send you the D7 and D30 afterwards here. And I know Joel is saying we want to wrap up, but we're very proud of our metrics. I'll send you our full metrics. Get into the weeds.
Amazing job, Max. And thank you to our panelists for the questions. Really awesome to hear how much you've been growing and your retention and all these incredible metrics. So amazing job on your pitch. And a reminder to everyone, if you are interested in connecting with Max, please make sure to click those buttons at the bottom of your screen. We're going to move on to our second startup, Denzel from Smarty AI. And Smarty is an AI-powered executive assistant in the form of a conversational calendar. They were the runner-up in MIT's latest pitch competition. She used to work at Microsoft in their enterprise productivity space, and she is ready to crush her pitch today for all 1,000 of you who are watching. So go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much for that intro, Nadia. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Denzel, and I'm working on Smarty, the AI way to power through your workday. So right now, more than 55% of your time, the corporate knowledge workers' time, is wasted on easily automatable tasks. On top of that, over 30% of your time is spent on tasks that have low value and could have and should have been delegated. Unfortunately, most of the solutions on the market today don't solve your actual productivity problem. Executive assistants and virtual assistants are expensive, slow to hire and train, and provide poor quality at scale. That's why there's been a huge boom in productivity apps over the past decade. Productivity apps empower you to be better, faster, smarter, and save time. But the problem is with tools today on the market, they only optimize one workflow per account. So Superhuman manages email for one email account at a time, Calendly for scheduling, HubSpot for CRM. No tool consolidates all of these value propositions into one universal inbox across all of your email and calendar accounts and other applications that you use online. But users today have higher expectations than ever before. Professional consumers or prosumers like you know what's possible with automation and AI, but you don't know how to weave that AI into your day-to-day to easily automate 80% of your administrative tasks and to reduce context switching. Until now, Smarty is an AI-powered executive assistant in the form of a conversational calendar. We have conversational commands that automate all your administrative tasks, from task management to calendar management to email management, across all your accounts, all in one place. And we do that for folks like Alice. Alice started her own marketing agency and manages multiple work streams with multiple email and calendar accounts. She doesn't have the time or desire to train an executive assistant or a virtual assistant. And before Smarty, she was band-aiding multiple productivity tools together and constantly context switching. spending 80% of her time managing her business instead of working on the actual services. Direct quote. Alice uses Smarty to save hours every week. For example, let's look at a specific workflow to see how that happens. So let's say Alice receives an email from a client asking to meet with her and her team in order to schedule time to align on strategy. With Smarty, Alice can instantly respond to this email with her team's mutual availability. She just pulls up the Smarty command and types next Thursday and Friday with Kimmy and Sam, and she presses enter twice and can paste in everyone's mutual availability formatted as dates and times, and respond instantly to Alice. You can see it. She presses enter and she pastes it in, and she can paste her mutual availability for both her and her team and send it to this client. But on top of that, she wants to spend time. She wants to set up time with her team to actually prepare for this client meeting. And again, she can pull up the Smarty command menu and just say, prep strategy session, 2 hours with Kimmy and Sam before next Thursday. And Smarty will automatically find a 2-hour time block for her entire team to meet before this calendar meeting, before this client meeting. And Alice is able to do this previously 30-minute workflow in less than a minute with no context switching, with 2 conversational commands. And she can press E, archive this email, and move on to the next administrative workflow. This is just a conversational command example for one workflow around scheduling, calendar management, and email management. But Alice is saving hours every week by using Smarty's conversational commands to automate all of her administrative workflows, from task management to email management to project management, all in one universal inbox across all of her email accounts, all of her calendar accounts. And she can use Smarty on her phone, so she can do this on the go. And when she's actually working, she can focus on the work that actually matters. Alice is one of 8,000 users in the Smarty community today. And with the latest version of the product that we just launched last month, we're seeing 70% of our paying customers being retained month over month. We're projecting over 240K in ARR before the end of this year. And part of the reason that we're growing so quickly is that Smarty has inherently viral features. Every time you send a scheduling link, an email, or a calendar event with Smarty, it says sent with Smarty. And this is just one pillar of our extremely strong go-to-market strategy that we built with our advisor, who used to be the head of marketing at Trello and wrote the playbook for product-led growth. Our team is small but mighty. Everyone is technical, and we have some great investors behind our team. My background is in computer science and AI from MIT. I also went to Harvard Business School. And in between, I worked at Microsoft at Office 365. So enterprise productivity is my bread and butter, and future work tools is my passion. And I'm here today because we're trying to close our round with an additional 400K. And with that, we're hoping to reach $1 million in ARR in early 2025. But other asks that we have for the community here today is to try Smarty, give us feedback, give us any intros to productivity influencers in your network, like Cal Newport or Near Isle, or even micro influencers, and to connect with Smarty on social and to connect with me on social. And with that, thank you so much for listening, and plan your best day every day with Smarty. And I will open it up for questions. Thank you.
Amazing. That was such a good pitch, and you have an incredible background, incredible advisors, and I think I need to try out this tool too because it seems super cool. So thank you so much for that amazing pitch. Reminder to the audience, if you are looking to connect and invest, make sure to click those buttons on your screen, and we're going to get started with our Q&A, starting with Michelle.
Maybe not Michelle.
Yes.
Hi there. No, sorry about that. Sorry, I'm just in transit today. Okay, can you tell me about just the user acquisition journey so far, and what that has been, and where most of the people have come from, and where most of the people have given referrals from?
Yeah, so we had a waitlist on our website for most of the last year, where we were just driving people to the website to sign up for the waitlist with content creation, with partnerships with freelancers and small business owners and business coaches who were using Smarty in their productivity classes. So really through partnerships, through owned media, earned media, is how we built up our waitlist.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
And over to Andrew, if you have a question.
Yeah, I'm curious. So, so if you were to sell this to someone with one sentence, it would be no more manual coordination of meetings, right? Is that the main thing?
No, so I would say it's conversational commands for everything administrative and using AI to automatically plan your schedule.
So let's say that I have a team meeting or something and I'm 30 minutes out and I say, I want to reschedule it. I often go to my assistant and then they do it. What would I do with Smarty?
You would search the name of the meeting and then you would press enter. You would write out the new date and time that you want to schedule it to, or you would say something like before April 18th, and Smarty will automatically reschedule it for everyone before April 18th.
And how will that work? So let's imagine that Ryan is on the meeting and he's super busy and traveling. Is it going to email him?
No, it's automatically going to reschedule it. If you're on the same G Suite workspace, you already have shared calendars. So Smarty already has access to that information about Ryan's availability.
If Ryan's external, so let's say Ryan and I are just meeting and we're in separate organizations, it's going to send an email or is it mostly for internal meetings?
So in the case that Ryan is an external customer or a client, then you can say something like, send this reschedule template to Ryan, and you can create a scheduling link with another conversational command like, here's my availability for next week, or send my availability for April 18th to April 24th, only in the afternoon.
So Ryan will just receive, so I'm 30 minutes away, I'm a total douche, I'm canceling last minute, and Ryan's going to get a template that says, Ryan, Andrew's canceled. Click here to reschedule.
No, it would be through you. So it would say like, hey, Ryan, I'm sorry I have to cancel. Here's my availability for the next week's afternoon.
Cool. I just wanted to say I lost $10 million building a productivity tool. It's such a hard world because every designer and developer in the world wakes up every day and goes, oh, hey, I should go build a better to-do list, a better calendar, whatever. So I would just say, trying to own a niche. The mistake I made is I didn't own a niche. Try and own a niche. Try and do one thing really, really well. But I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah. Peter, over to you.
Yeah, I use SavvyCal because I think it's better than Calendly. It's the way the UI, and you use Superhuman. So what I was looking at your website right now, so you replace all that, Superhuman, Calendly, all of it into one UI.
Yes. And it's live today. You can try it out today. You can integrate your email. You can integrate your calendar. We have keyboard shortcuts like Superhuman. We create scheduling links like Calendly, but also like SavvyCal, where you can automatically say something like next week, and Smarty will auto format the dates and times for your availability.
And more features for us. One of the features I really love about SavvyCal is I just copy and paste the link. I don't have to conversational anything. I just set a couple set up. And there's
everything that you can do in SavvyCal, like creating your 30-minute, 60-minute link, you can just copy and paste it, the link.
Awesome. I will try this today. And then you're charging at $10. The LLM, are you using Facebook Llama for open source, or are you using OpenAI?
So we're using a combination of both open source as well as OpenAI's API. So the way that I like to think about Smarty is that we're really a API hub. We connect with all of these different APIs out there and then create this conversational layer on top.
Honestly, the new Llama you should use. It's so much better and it's free.
Good.
And then your $10 a month is what you started at?
Yeah, it's just where we're starting. We're really focused on retention and just iterating to awesome, but we're probably going to increase that price by the end of this year.
And how big is the team right now?
It's 3 people. We're all technical.
That is really impressive. You built. How long did you start?
I raised money officially in January of 2020. So this has been a long journey, but something I'm very passionate about.
And they're bottoms up right now, right?
Sorry?
The bottoms up right now. Are you selling? Are you trying to sell top down or bottoms up?
We're bottom up right now. Obviously, the ideal playbook would be bottom up growth at enterprise, but we're really focused on that small business owner, solopreneur, people who used to have an EA or don't want an EA and are looking for a tool to empower themselves.
That was awesome. I'm going to let Ryan ask the last question before we move on to our third startup.
All right. I like how I think everybody, maybe not Michelle, but I think everybody went to their personal workflows, and that was like their first question, but like the gears are spinning on how they incorporate this. And so I'll continue that on. So does this play with Google Calendar?
Yes. So
Okay.
we integrate with multiple Google Calendar accounts. So that's actually one of the big use cases that bring users in. They want to manage all of it in one place.
Yeah, because too much change is so scary for people, right? And like myself included, I've got like just everything is like hooked up there, and so I've already got the tab open. I'll give it a play after this and see. So looks super interesting, and wish you the best of luck. I think I'm rooting for you. It is a tough space, as Andrew mentioned. But I love the virality in team products like Slack and what you're doing. Anytime you're getting somebody to pull their team in, that there's huge benefit to that. So, keep growth hacking there.
Thank you so much. And I agree, it's a crowded space, but that's because there's a lot of opportunity and no one's done it right yet.
Yeah. Hey, one thought, like, with what's coming down the pipes in voice, like, have you thought about your voice integrations? Because like you're sending to people to yet another UI where we're going with this is like, probably the ability to just like talk normally to an app and the app does what you want to do.
Yes, I've been asking Superhuman for this forever. Like, why can't I dictate emails? It's insane.
Yeah. So again, like Smarty is this API hub. And so we have plans to integrate with different voice APIs. We also have plans to integrate with texting APIs. So you can text Smarty your commands as well. And so we have a plan around adding these additional ways of being able to interact with the platform.
And last question, is it Chrome? Is it all window? Is it inside of a browser or is it app? Is there an app?
So right now it's a web app and we're mobile friendly, but we're hoping to add a texting interface. That's the first platform we're going to add. We also have a Chrome extension already live. And then the goal is to start adding a mobile app later this year.
Ooh, cool. By the way, there's a Chrome plugin called Voice In. You should use it.
Okay, I'll check it out.
It's super cool. It uses Google keyboard as the engine for voice dictation.
Awesome. We'll check it out.
That's awesome. And last question. What was it that took was there a U-turn kind of there, or what was it that took the time to kind of get from 2020 to launch?
Yeah, so we started with a chatbot. We then moved on to being a Chrome extension. As Andrew said, it's a tough space and the user experience matters so much to get it right. And like, rather than like X.AI that was delegating to Amy, we really needed something that made the user feel like they were in control. And so just iterating on that UI UX is what took so long. But we're actually kind of done iterating on the UX. We feel really good about that. And so now it's just about making it as robust as possible.
Amazing.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges, for all your questions, and amazing job on your pitch. Loved learning about this. This is something I don't really have too much experience in, so I learned a lot from all the questions and your pitch. And a reminder to all of our audience, please do connect afterwards so that you can get access to this amazing startup. Now we're going to go on to our third startup of the day, Darren from Mindset Care. Darren is digitizing the disability insurance world and shortening applications from 2 weeks to 45 minutes. Some fun facts about Darren: he was in 20 to 30 commercials as a kid, so I know he's going to be an awesome presenter today. And he just hired his 42nd employee for a startup, so they're growing quite quickly. I'll let you take it away, Darren.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, VCs, for being here. I know you can be busy helping your portfolio company, so I'm going to get through this quick and get to the questions. Again, I'm Darren. I'm the CEO at Mindset, and what we do is we assist those with the mental illness and their caregivers in applying for Social Security disability benefits. What we've done is we've TurboTaxed this process. What still takes you days to weeks to do with a local disability attorney or by yourself with a social worker, we get everything done in 45 minutes. We assist these claimants from the initial application all the way through an appeal, which unfortunately still takes on average about 15 months for this federal program. Why did I start this company? 15 months ago, I started the company kind of out of personal strife. I'm a caregiver for a very close loved one and family member with schizophrenia. When he got out of jail, I tried to help him get on his disability benefits. As excited as I was for him to get home, I was more excited to not pay his bills anymore and his mortgage and his student loans. So got in touch with a bunch of disability attorneys, and they all mailed me 2 to 3 pounds of paperwork each to fill out. I asked all of these attorneys if they could please DocuSign me these documents, and had absolutely no clue what I was talking about. At that moment, I knew that we needed to digitize this process to make it easier for myself as a caregiver, but for those that are suffering to get through this government bureaucracy. This is the exact process that I went to. It took us 3 weeks to get the application out the door working with disability attorneys. I had to find a photocopy machine. I had to request medical records. I had to get an Uber for my brother to get to the mailbox to mail this back to the disability attorney, where it then sat for another week, and then they put the application in. With us, everything gets done in under an hour, specifically 45 minutes. We've used a lot of technology and AI to make this a really easy platform for anyone to log in, upload all of their personal information that we need to get their application out the door, and then we submit their application. We get compensated a one-time 25% fee of a claimant's back pay. Claimants start to accrue their awards once the application is submitted until it's accepted. On average, it's about 15 months. And let's just say that the judge awards you $1,000 a month. This claimant's going to get a $15,000 check. We get 25% of that. Now that 25% is federally mandated. I didn't create this 25% number. We can't charge 28, 29. This is what is used across the industry standard. Now, in last year, 2022, we did about $5.8 million in applications submitted. Again, this is mostly like a pipeline. We get compensated about 15 months later after an application is submitted. So we are waiting on just over $5.8 million from the government from last year to be transferred to us. We're growing very quickly. This month alone in April, we're going to do just as much applications submitted as we did in the entire Q4 of 2022. So just under $2 million worth of applications submitted this month of April alone. We go out and we partner with jails and prisons, homeless shelters, local governments and state departments, digital mental health services, and other hyper-local mental health nonprofits for distribution. Again, these are the local disability attorneys that do this every single day. There's thousands of them across the United States. We are automating and creating a better process than their current job. My background is in tech and sales. The past 5 years, I've worked at Inside.com with Jason Calacanis. I worked at The Hustle with Sam Parr before his company was acquired by HubSpot. And most recently, I was the head of sales at StockTwits, the largest social network for retail investors. My co-founder, Nate, I've known him for over 15 years. He is a former data lead team engineer at Grubhub. And we have Ted Glass, who is an attorney coming from Minnesota's largest disability firm. What we're doing now, we've raised $3 million already, led by the great Peter Pham and Science Inc. Currently raising a $10 million round. $8 million of that has been committed, and we are looking to fill out the rest of the round with $2 million from investors that can help with distribution moving forward. So thank you for that, and I would love to answer your questions.
Awesome. Great job on the pitch. And it seems like you found a really interesting problem space that not many people are in. So curious to hear how the panelists are going to ask some of these questions. Peter, I'll go over to you first. I know you're one of the investors in this company.
Yeah, I think it's important to hear, how many people qualify for Social Security, and maybe tell a story of the best person we've recently helped get a check.
Man, so right now, just those with the mental illness, about 17 million Americans. Again, we can help anybody with any type of physical disability as well. That pushes it north of 50 million Americans. Believe it or not, just yesterday we signed up 6 people in one family in one household, both grandparents, niece, nephew, and daughter.
How much money is it to them?
Oh yeah, $1,500 on average. They also get Medicaid as well as food stamps. So it's very important for them.
That's awesome. Ryan, did you have a question around that or a different topic as well?
Yeah, Darren, great niche that you found here, and I love anytime somebody doesn't send a DocuSign, it's like it's an opportunity, right?
Yep.
So just on that 25% you're getting, is it a one-time or is there recurrence to it?
It's a one-time fee. So it's costing us $400 all in. We're getting back on average $3,700.
Yep. Okay. So I'm sure the TAM is big. I mean, there's a lot of people that looking for help out there. What do you think down the road in terms of like, what are you going to cross-sell, upsell? Like, where are you taking recurrence with?
Yeah, easily. Medicare, Medicaid. So Medicaid companies, health plans, health providers, if their clients are also on disability benefits, they get reimbursed more by the government. We'll then take a piece of that VIG, right? So if you're on Medicaid, the government's going to give you $2,000 a month for each person. They get on disability benefits, they now get $4,000, and that's recurring annually, which we will then take a piece of.
Okay. And how how do you feel? Like, what's your optimism based on like political environment with this?
Oh, it's getting better. The new SSA commissioner, he's amazing. He's actually done more in 6 months since he was just appointed in the past 10 years. Our fee cap, so we're capped at 7,200 for the amount that we can make on that 25%. He just increased that to 9,200, and he's done a lot of other things to make it easier. He actually just came out and wrote a letter saying that Social Security has a customer service problem, and he needs representatives to help them through this process, which is exactly what we are.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks.
Very interesting.
How do you think about your competitive advantage in preventing other people from coming in? Like making 4K, 5K a customer is amazing. It's an amazing service you're offering, but other people are going to enter the market.
Yeah, speed and distribution, and we've got lock on a lot of different distribution channels where we're the only provider, contractually that can fill out those applications for all of their constituents. Regulatory capture, our board of advisors and investors, getting really locked in with local governments and working with them. So that's how we're doing it.
But it's not a zero-sum game. There's 500,000 people is $2 billion in revenue for us.
So let's say that tomorrow I started competing with you and I hired 20 developers to rebuild everything that you've done. Tell me about the regulatory moat. Why would it be hard for me?
It's about distribution. It's not about the tech, personally. We're locked in with half of all of the jails in America. We have that contract that you'll never be able to get. And also, this takes 15 months on average for one application to go through. We're way ahead of you as far as that. So, getting those distribution channels on lock, again, I'm just going to double down on that, is what I believe to be.
But this is a publicly available service, right? You're basically
sure. His point is you wouldn't know that it works for 15 months. We already have 15, so we're 15 months ahead. No matter what you did, if you start today, you wouldn't know if you got anything approved for 15 months.
Interesting.
Right. I mean, right now, this is happening right now. There's Google any city in America, disability attorney, hundreds are going to pop up. So this industry's been around since the 70s. Again, we've just brought it to modern times.
What are comps? So I know mainstreet.com, there's some other similar businesses. How have those worked out? What do you view as your North Star? If you could beat anyone in the next 5 years, who would you be like?
Yeah, I think we're ourselves. We are literally the TurboTax or the Clear or the TSA pre for disability benefits. We haven't only solved the customer problem, but we are integrated on SSA side to share information seamlessly. Right now, we still have to fax in information. That's how it's sent, right? So instant transfer of data, making the job easier for them and for us. That's the goal.
One quick question too. So you're raising 10 million. I would assume that means you're raising it like a 40 million pre or something like that.
Exactly right. Yeah.
How do you get there? Like 2 million rev? Is it just growing so fast?
It is. Yeah. I mean, if that super simple. Again,
Peter, you should invest in some of my companies. That sounds good.
No, it's $2 million this month.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 2 million for the year, and I was like, geez.
No. 2 million for the month, which is about what we did in the fourth quarter alone.
Okay.
22.
Okay.
23. Yeah.
All right.
Very cool. Amazing. Thank you, everyone, for those questions. And Darren, thank you for an amazing pitch. To everyone in the audience,
Thanks.
Reminder, if you want to connect with Darren, to click those buttons and get connected with him. We are on to our final and fourth startup for the day. This has been an awesome hour of so many incredible businesses. We're going to be hearing now from Morgan from DealBuilder. And Morgan is building the revolutionary platform to buy and sell Main Street businesses. For some background, Morgan does a competitive road race once a year, a fun fact, but he also has over $275 million in value listed on the platform. Over to you, Morgan.
Awesome. Thanks, Nadia. And yeah, thanks for everybody sticking along this long. It's always tough going last, but especially when you have a good pitch like Darren's to follow up on. But I'll dive right into things. So like it was mentioned, my name is Morgan Tate. I'm the co-founder of DealBuilder. We're a marketplace to buy and sell small businesses. We're working on this problem because by the end of the decade, there's going to be over $10 trillion worth of baby boomer owned businesses that will need to sell. And unfortunately, 80% of those won't succeed in that process. The reason why they won't succeed is that the current marketplaces are stuck with technology from the 1990s. The brokers that are brokering the deals are stuck with really antiquated technology and are literally using fax machines. And the cycle of a deal can take up to 12 months to close, and not everybody has that much time. We know this problem super well because we started as a business brokerage ourselves before we spun out DealBuilder as a separate company. So this is our happy brokerage here, but we were struggling with the same problems. We were drowning in admin tasks. This was causing things to get missed, and our closings were getting delayed. And then ultimately it led to deal failures. So a more accurate photo of us here was kind of how we were feeling before we launched DealBuilder. The solution that we built was a marketplace software, a back office software for business brokers, and the results was a high, like a 50% higher success rate when you compare it to other online marketplaces that are currently available. Some of those attributes in our own brokerage, so we were the first pilot case study, was that we had $60,000 of admin overhead savings. Our average deal time went down to 143 days on the market. Again, the average can be up to 12 months. And we had 43 deals close within the year, which was our best year ever. And a big part of that, again, was implementing the DealBuilder software. We then decided that this is a good idea to start to sell to other business brokers who are our primary customer with the value prop of closing more deals with less work. We offer valuation software, presentation building software using AI, marketing tools, other AI tools that are built right within, and a letter of intent builder, and a whole listing marketplace. So like an end-to-end software for brokers to list their deals and for buyers for free to interact with the platform. So far, the success that we've had is that we've had over 100 brokers register onto the platform. Again, like mentioned at the top of the presentation, there's over 250 million of listed deal value on the platform, and we have over 5,000 buyers registered and 70 million deals closed or more through the platform as well. So listing value is great, but actual closings is what we strive for. And this is a revised photo. Again, happy team. So our business model, we currently charge brokers a listing fee for each deal they bring onto the platform. It ranges between $30 to $50 per month per listing. To give some context, the average broker usually has between 8 to 10 listings. So a kind of a $500 a month up to several $1,000s a month per client. The transaction fee side is something that we are also developing. So we've also have some strategic partnerships. We're actually taking a percentage of each deal as well. In terms of the market positioning, there's currently a few names that people on this call will definitely know: Acquire.com, Flippa, Empire Flippers. I don't view them as competition because they're ultimately just a digital brokerage. They're brokering every deal that's on their platform, and they don't allow third-party brokers to list on it. And then there's listing sites, which are like bizbuysell.com or businessesforsale.com. These are those listing sites that are a little bit antiquated in their technology, to put it nicely. And where we see the opportunity is developing a marketplace that allows third-party brokers, allows us to scale a lot faster. And we've developed a competitive moat versus those competitors by offering the back office tools, which is a sticky software that brokers license from us and they use in their day-to-day operations. Our ask is going to be different than the people on this call. We're currently at about $7.5K of MRR. We've just revised our overhead expenses to be about $10K a month. So we have a very minimal burn and or at cash flow break even. So we're looking for strategic investors who can help us with accelerated growth on the buyer side and making our marketplace stronger. So we're looking to get up to 250,000 of equity at a 4 million valuation, which is an extension of our previous round. The total raise to date so far has been just under 750,000 Canadian. With that, we're going to expand on hiring a dedicated sales development rep, increase the use of AI in our product, and then also do some more sales and marketing efforts. To date, so the reason why it's worthwhile partnering with us is that we've sold over 300 small businesses in the past decade. We obtained domain expertise with trial and error before we founded DealBuilder. A lot of trial and error, a lot of pain, and we're competing against slow-moving incumbents that are stuck with out-of-date business models in a very fast-growing industry, given the baby boomer macro trend that's happening. I am happy to answer any questions now, and for the people that are watching, please register as a free buyer on our app. If you're interested in investing in startups, then you should definitely look at buying cash flow businesses. It's a great option. And some of the panelists here have definitely grown their wealth doing it that way. So go to app.dealbuilder.co/listings to learn more.
Amazing. Thank you, Morgan. And super interesting to learn about some of those macro trends and the stats that you shared throughout your pitch as well. We're going to go over to Andrew first for our first question of the day.
Yeah, so Morgan, and full disclosure, I'm an investor previously. Morgan lives in Victoria. Just so people understand, so you're basically betting that this is going to continue to be an inefficient market, that there will always be brokers because it's just too personal of a decision, right? They're kind of like realtors or investment bankers, and you feel like they're going to exist, and so you're going to sell them back office software to help them flourish. Is that correct?
Yeah. Ultimately, what we found is we did a direct to business owner approach for a while, and every owner needed a lot of handholding and a lot of support. It's a little bit different than selling a digital SaaS company online, which is where some of like the acquire.com, they can do that. With these brick and mortar businesses, the owners are not just going to get into a portal and list their business and be able to do it by themselves. But we went with the route of partnering with brokers, and we have some monetization models where we still will get a percentage of the deal at scale once they kind of bring all their listings on board.
And you mentioned 7,000 of MRR. Why is it so low at this point? Is that inclusive of your fees for the successful deals?
So yeah, the 7F MRR is just purely off the listings that brokers are paying us. We've had transactional revenue months where, and I didn't count it towards that, but it's between 40 to 60K a month just off of taking fees related to the marketplace. But our pure kind of SaaS revenue is currently at 7.5K.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Peter, over to you to ask some questions.
Yeah. So this is for brokers who are selling companies to use as like workflow and AI, correct? It's like
in addition to
revenue. So your revenue is the SaaS brokers who have things to sell. They go on here to list. You charge them a fee to list and basically provide software for workflow for buyers to also use. Mm-hmm. And then do you make a percentage of the sale at all, or is that?
Currently we haven't optimized on that. What the part of that will be offering escrow services and other percentage based. Part of the challenge with brokers was we tried to go the route of taking a percentage of all their deals, and it created a lot more friction to getting them onboarded. So they wanted just like a straightforward SaaS model, and that's the reason why we kind of pivoted to that model.
So if I look in featured deals right now on the listing, these are brokers that are paying you a monthly fee who then list their deals here.
Yeah, correct.
And then if someone's interested, you click through, their entire experience stays inside of DealBuilder where you're just working on the whole workflow.
Yeah, so most of the best feedback we get is from buyers, because how these other sites work are like Craigslist. You see a business for sale, you submit a form, and then you never hear back from the broker. Our tool has like automated follow-ups. Buyers are able to see all their deals in one dashboard, and then they have analytical tools they have access to as well.
Morgan, if you think about, you've obviously done some modeling on the TAM here. How many business brokers are there in Canada, US?
Yeah, there's about 6,000 to 7,000 brokers in the US. However, based on the current market demand, there's not enough to meet how many businesses need to transact in a given year.
Yep.
So there's a lot of opportunity to expand that way.
Yep.
I think the other thing that's important too is we're pretty optimized for cash flow. So for us, if we get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 kind of brokers on board, our overhead does not increase dramatically. Like we can outsource a majority of our team, and we start to pay dividends off of this. Given that, that's why our valuation is where it is.
So if like what are people willing to pay right now for like the brokers? What are you hearing for like, is it per listing, $100 a month per listing?
$25.
Yeah, 50. So it's between $30 to like $50 a month per listing. So depending on the volume. So as they scale up, we drop the price down, but it's up to $50 a month per listing.
Okay, so if you capture, let's just go like top, like biggest part end of the bracket. Like if you capture every broker in North America and every listing, like what's the top of the range here?
Yeah, so at like as of right now, if we just use a direct comp, so this is like a more serviceable market rather than the TAM, because we can just make up a TAM based on like the small business number. Biz buy sell, which is a very easy marketplace to displace, has about 45,000 listings at any given time on its site. So that's about 2.5 million a month of MRR that can be achieved without doing taking any percentage of any transaction, which we would suspect would rapidly surpass that.
Does biz buy sell just do a listing fee?
Yeah, and they're stuck in that way. They've tried to change it before, and like the brokers I talk to, they literally say, "I despise biz buy sell, and there's no way you're going to take a percentage of my deal because of the way it's been set up." And it's like they don't provide any value. There's no brokerage tools. All it is a listing site. Like you just post an ad.
And is it for the brokers? You make it better and faster for them and cheaper, I guess. How much does a broker make on an average transaction, and they're paying you $50 a listing a month?
Yeah. So if you sell $1 million business, it's a 10% commission in the business broker world. So they make $100,000.
Okay. And so
there's a lot of margin. There's a ton of margin for that.
And price elasticity for you. I mean, if I'm make $100,000 and you created a tool that made the process a lot easier for me, I would imagine you can get more than $50.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, there's all these really horrible, like datasite.com. Anyone who's worked on a deal would know there's these horrible deal room providers. And I feel like if you guys can if you could basically say, look, we make deal rooms and sims that convert 30% higher than everybody else because the way we visualize your data, whatever. You can
close deals 30% faster, right?
Yeah, data site's like $5,000 a month or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I have to imagine you could charge way more than you're charging.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely so one of the things that we have done, Peter, which I think is more interesting, is we have partnered with a few communities that have like business coaching communities. So there's one that's in the clinic world. We help them plant a broker that works with them. We take a 50% revenue share on every deal that's closed, and we have like $800K in revenue in the pipeline just from them. And why they're interesting, because they aren't an established broker already. So we're providing like a ton of value, and we have a proprietary system to kind of help them run that process. So there is an opportunity to do more revenue share partnerships with brokerages as well, like poaching top performing brokers, because some of these brokers in their offices will pay 50% of their commission to the house and get no tech or no service. So there's also an opportunity there to work with independent brokers more closely.
Morgan, when you think about, you're not building a marketplace, but you do want eyeballs for your brokers, right? When they're going to the listing site, that's a listing, and they've got eyeballs and audience. What are your plans on building audience, or do you think the brokers just supply the audience? How do you think about that?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why we've done it the way we've done it. So every time a broker lists a deal, they bring all of their buyers to our site through the NDA flow. So they share the deals on different marketing sites, and that grows our marketplace organically. So we've done 0 paid ads or acquisition to grow.
Brokers like that, in the sense of, like, in one case, I feel like you could just build the best workflow software for deals that have deals close faster with less risk, right? If they list and get their buyers on there, all of a sudden their buyer gets distracted and says, "Oh, I think I found a better deal." Is that, it's almost like you're incentivizing them to not want to share too much with the fear.
Yeah, no, it's come up for sure. The argument is, like, with the way, no buyers are really proprietary, like the way that it is currently. Like biz buy sell, brokers advertise on that deal. One buyer might inquire. They see the same name on like 4 other different deals. Like buyers float to where the best deals are. So there is some workarounds in the system for them to, if they're really worried about it, that, and we've done some white labeling too, so that they, like brokers, like buyers that come through their lead funnel don't automatically see all the listings of other brokerages, for example.
I'm going to come in here because I think that's all the time we have for questions. But thank you so much, Morgan. Thank you, judges, for that really engaging conversation and learning more about DealBuilder. So reminder to the audience, if you are interested in connecting, please do click those buttons at the bottom of your screen. And that was our big four for today. I want to also get one last opportunity for the judges to share any kind of key takeaways, reflections, things that stood out from today's pitch day. I'll start with you, Ryan. Anything that kind of stood out or a key theme or anything?
No, super fun pitches, great innovation, and I love when founders discover gold veins, and all of them have found something really interesting. So cool to see.
I love it. Andrew, anything from you?
I was really impressed with everybody. I thought great pitches all around, and every single one of them, I went, "Oh man, I want to invest in this." The only one I'm too traumatized to invest in is the AI one, just because I've lost too much money there. But yeah, I love them all.
That's amazing. And Peter, your reflections.
By the way, my superpower, Andrew, is actually I have a terrible memory. So I think, like everything, timing and investments, and if you get burned on a category, it's maybe just timing. Agreed. Each company amazing. I would say in all cases, focus. Like your resources are very limited. As a startup, my advice is your resources are very limited. Not enough hours in the day. Try to build a brand. It's going back to brand. Be known for one thing. I think Andrew mentioned this earlier. Like, you want everyone to think of you as one thing. When you start kind of doing more than one thing, it gets very confusing for people. And so I would encourage everyone to do one thing. But I like that everyone's going after big spaces, right? Like old stodgy businesses like Dealmaker. There's a lot of revenue. There's a lot inside of that. I think, the great thing about the trading Blossom is they've done a good job on social. I was taking a look at their TikTok and Instagram. Really done well. I didn't comment on that. I highly recommend that. And Smarty AI, I'm loaded it up. I'm trying it right now. I think there's, like everything else, you could probably charge more if you really nail it, but focus in on the product. And obviously already bias on Mindset Care, which as for investors out there, to let you know, that came out of Fund 3 for us. We've put 14% of our fund in. I've maxed it out. That's how much I believe in it. Last time I did that was Liquid Death in my Fund 2. So
that's amazing. Thank you so much to our judges and panelists for taking the time out of your day. I know I got the chance to connect with some of the pitchers beforehand, and they are all incredible. It's been amazing to watch their growth as a fellow founder and to support them. So thank you, each and every one of you of the audience as well, for tuning in today. It's amazing. The reason we're here is to support these startups. So please do connect with them afterwards. They're all raising funds. I know it's hard to, raise these funds, a lot of meetings, a lot of time that goes into it. So please do connect with them and help make it easier for them. I would love to stay in touch with many of you as well. As I mentioned, co-founder of Marlowe, first lubricated tampon. And we also have our community platform called the TMI Club, where we break down anything TMI. So please do connect with me afterwards as well as the pitchers and all of our judges. Thank you again. And if you want to get involved in a future pitch day here on Kernel, please do click the link on your screen to RSVP or apply to be featured in the next event. Thank you so much, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Are we connected?